happy place in my life every living day. Happy place in my life every living day. A happy place in my life every living day. I'm at a happy place in my life, and it can't change. And I just come out here to do right.
All right, we're back on the SportsMax Zone with football. It has already been an enthralling year for the beautiful game, but with a new season on the horizon, it would be remiss of us to not get the thoughts of our two premier football correspondents. As you know, former Trinidad and Tobago international Brent Sancho and the ever-lively Juan G. Arango. Welcome to the show, gentlemen. It's not the type of show that, we're accustomed to having. It's our goodbye show. But let me start with you first, Juan. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm doing good. I mean, I spoke to you yesterday and many others, and it's I mean, not the best of situations to be speaking in, but I'm grateful for having been here. I mean, it's crazy. I was remembering how it all happened. I was kind of in between jobs, and I knew Copa America was coming, and I decided to send an email to a place I had no clue about, and to a person I'd never met, and I said, "Hey, look, I can do this, this, and that." And the first person that I always have said that I'm very grateful for is Simon Crosskill, because I sent the email to him, and 2 weeks later I was in Jamaica doing the Copa America in 2015. And little did I know then that it ended up being almost 10 years that I was with a place that it was more than just coming on and popping in and out and giving my thoughts and information about the world of football. It was a place where I built relationships. And to this day, I was thinking before we went on air, I thought about how wonderful a reality show it would have been to do that World Cup Lance in 2018 and seeing what was happening over at that infamous flat, Brent, that they had Brent Sancho and I living together for a month. That would have been must-see TV.
Brent! Let's bring in Brent.
Wow, that must have been your best culinary experience that you would have ever had. Because I cooked almost every day for one, so he would have appreciated that the food and all the atmosphere that apartment brought. It was a really special moment. And yeah, as Juan said, and not to go too deep. Look, it's been an environment that is more than just a workplace. And it's more than just friends. I've made family members here at the Zone, and it's remarkable. Coming from the background of team sports, I know the impact of it, but being with SportsMax for the past 10 plus years was really about building family members and having family members. And I look forward to continuing that relationship with a lot of the persons that I work with, both in the studios in Jamaica and here in Trinidad. So it's been a really enthralling ride with so many great memories.
Yeah, I'll miss both of you, but I've been told by my producer we also have to talk some football. I could talk to both of you all day about all sorts of memories and stuff because I love listening to the stories. And I actually met Juan G. Arango for the first time this year in real, Brent, and it was so cool. He's the same.
Wait till he has a couple curry chickens and stuff in his system and wine. He changes quite quickly.
I didn't see that one, but let's just spend a little time because I know our viewers they enjoyed these discussions, and let's talk a bit. I feel like I want to start first, Brent, with No More Soca Warriors.
Yeah, an interesting development, something that has been brewing for quite some time now, I believe, since David John Williams' time as president. It's a situation in terms of name infringements that was brought to the forefront. And the TTFA has been battling this for quite some time. I believe that an offer was made and still they have not been able to come to some sort of agreement. But I'm not surprised, Maria. The timing of it is not surprising. Of course, this is really the hotbed of football happening now in Trinidad and Tobago. Everyone's attention on the island, as you would expect, is on the qualifiers in September. And I think the TTFA, for them to cash in or to make the commercial advancements that they expect to make from this dip into the qualifiers, they have to make a decision, and I think that's the decision that they decided. I'm not surprised by it at all because I think their hands were tied, and this is the obvious move forward.
Yeah, but it's just something that, when you get used to something, just like I've gotten used to SportsMax, it's a bit difficult to just come to terms with it, but we'll see. So for you now, Juan, I spent a lot of my days talking La Liga with you. We spoke about my team, Barcelona. We spoke about Real Madrid, so many players. So, next La Liga season, what are you looking forward to? Because I won't be able to ask you about it.
Yeah, it's a different Real Madrid, seeing what happened to them, and all of a sudden they're protagonists in their own league, but you're accustomed to seeing them as protagonists in Europe, and well, all of a sudden everyone's talking about PSG because of what they've been able to do, not only to Real Madrid but also to Atletico Madrid, if we remember that we now have kind of the power structure has shifted unexpectedly or ironically, because now we've seen a team that's completely gone different. But staying within the La Liga focus is, well, how is this Real Madrid team going to bounce back from this adversity, and knowing that Barcelona have gotten stronger? And that being said, is all the talk about Barcelona now having to take that next step forward, because for them, and obviously missing a player like Luka Modric, as you see right there, how is that leadership vacuum going to be filled eventually with Real Madrid? And with Barcelona, again, like I said, it's their season where they have to make that leap forward. They have to make that new frontier of success post Leo Messi, and we'll see how that ends up working out, because the structure is very similar in La Liga, but now they begin the chase continentally of someone that's much better than them, and someone that maybe even is much better than them compared, or they're better than everybody else if you even include the Premier League. So all of a sudden, everybody's looking in a different direction because of a different structure, but also because of a coach that ironically was led by Barcelona, that's now changing the world of football.
Yeah, but the transition, and I think that's a concern when football teams transition from one coach to the next one. With the new coach coming in, Alonso replacing Ancelotti, and he mentioned the fact that Luka isn't there anymore. That may be a bit too much for Real Madrid, and you can see the complaints already in terms of the personnel that they do have. The fact that Kylian Mbappe has been criticized for not defending as much as Xabi Alonso would want. There are so many issues that they have to sort through, and this could be the year where they probably struggle to be in the top four in La Liga. Let's see if that's even a possibility.
It always is a possibility, but it's a very low probability, because it depends on how much of a step forward is going to be taken by Atletico Madrid. I mean, we always see that they're in the periphery, that they're always looking to see if they can kind of snatch a title every once in a while, and you think that they're going to do it, but then all of a sudden they end up underwhelming. And now you start to hear about players that are leaving. You hear about Rodrigo de Paul coming, obviously, to Inter Miami. You talk about different players that have really never panned out for Atletico Madrid. It's not just depending on what Real Madrid do. It's what the others decide. Say, well, it's our year. We have to go do it. We have to go for it. And that'll be interesting to see. Who else? I mean, you start looking at Athletic Club. Will they be able to step forward? Will they say, you know what? Why do we have to stay in the periphery instead of snatching points here and there once in a while for against these two giants? Why not try and make our statement? Why not do it? It ends up being, well, a bit of the status quo has to be kind of rebelled against, and it's up to the other teams, and not just necessarily what Real Madrid don't do. It's what everybody else takes advantage of when they don't do it.
Brent, an important thing coming up right now as far as World Cup qualifiers are concerned, and many people think it's going to be a straight shootout between Jamaica and Trinidad and Tobago for that that spot in the Caribbean group. But Curacao, wow, they look really good as well. But tell me your honest thoughts, Brent, as to where do you think that spot would go?
Look, the romantic man in me would hope that there's a Trinidad Jamaica shootout, but I don't think that will happen. I think now, between now and September, and I said this a couple of weeks ago, both squads of Jamaica and Curacao could change significantly, and maybe even Trinidad and Tobago, because they all have the opportunities to dip into the diaspora. There's already reports about Mason Greenwood joining the Jamaican team. That now gives them a completely different dimension than they had in the Gold Cup. And of course, what we've seen from Curacao in the Gold Cup, a team that continuously grew in that tournament and have the capabilities of also dipping into the diaspora to change their dimension as well. So it's very early for me to even suggest anything from that group because there's still a lot of time for changes to happen. But as it stands, it is going to be very, very intriguing and interesting. And I do feel that the early part, the first 4 games or so, can't tell you right away what will happen with that group. I think the team that is able to hold their nerve at home and get the vital points, all 3 points in their home fixtures, put themselves in a very, very good position. One out of the 3 teams, and no disrespect to Bermuda, of course, between Trinidad and Tobago, Jamaica, and Curacao, will have to hold serve at home. And the question is, which one will blink first?
Yeah, and I want to ask you about the apparent decline in quality and results of the Reggae Boyz, Brent, because I know they've confirmed now that Mason Greenwood is likely to be playing in September, which, on the face of it, would significantly boost their chances as an offensive threat. But a lot of Jamaicans are concerned that the team appeared to be playing better last year, and as we get closer to the World Cup qualifying, there are holes appearing in the team that people hadn't seen before, and the general feeling is that it's the wrong time for the Jamaica team to be struggling.
Yeah, you could include me as the many Jamaicans that have concerns as well. But, look, one of the things that concern me, Lance, it's a big difference when there is a tactical problem, or maybe technically, and the players are maybe not up to the standard. But what I saw through the Gold Cup really concerns me, and that's a lack of effort. That tells me that something that the head coach is saying is not getting in between the ears of the players, and that's a massive concern because just alone, forget whatever system Jamaica decides to play, how they deploy themselves in the qualifiers. If players are not up for it, if players are not listening to the coach or carrying out instructions, because I listened to some of the press conferences of Steve McLaren afterwards, that you have to be very, very concerned because there's not much he can do. Because if they're not going to, of course, apply what he suggested to them, then you have a big, big problem. The question is, what does he do between now and September to change that narrative? Is it meeting with players? Of course, most of the players play all over the globe and in different places. He has a big, big task. And then from a Jamaica perspective, it is extremely worrying because there's no fixtures between now and September for him to get that right. So, a lot of it will have to be verbal and it has to be in the way he carries about himself. So, yeah, I think alarm bells should be ringing if you're a Reggae Boyz fan like I am.
Yeah, and let me end by going back briefly to Europe. I know we dealt with Europe before, but just a quick comment here from you, Brent, and Juan as well, because Liverpool won the EPL last year comfortably by 10 points, and based on the quality of their team, they did reasonably well in Europe as well. Is Liverpool likely to retain the EPL title, and beyond that, probably challenge in Europe as well, because their squad has been strengthened, hasn't it? Let's start with Juan.
They have a good chance. I mean, maybe we're seeing Chelsea come in and start to give an argument to possibly overthrowing them. It'll be an interesting squad for sure. And we still don't know yet who's staying and who's going. That's the biggest question with Liverpool. We don't know if Darwin Núñez is coming back. And I mean, it's also a weird moment because as much as you want to say, we want to talk about players that need to come in, need to come out, there's also been a huge void left with what's happened with Diogo Jota. And that ends up being something that from a human standpoint, is hard to replace. And let me be a bit cold about it for a second. It's just which personnel remains after the transfer market and which personnel comes in. That's a big question mark for Liverpool because there need to be changes in certain, especially at the number 9. We've heard a lot about what Luis Diaz is going. He's coming. He's going to Bayern. He's not. He's going to Barcelona. Nobody knows yet, and there seems to be that type of uncertainty from that aspect. And of course, you see the Frimpong's and the Florian Wirtz and all these other arrivals that are supposed to be coming, but we need to see what happens, especially with a team that's beginning in some positions to show its age. How are they going to be able to come through? And of course, losing a player like Trent Alexander-Arnold, how do you replace him? Do you still have enough to compete? Yeah, you do. But is Liverpool about competing, or is Liverpool about continuing to win trophies? That's the big question.
Yeah, your quick comment now, Brent, on that Liverpool.
Yeah, look, to add to what Juan has said, I think it's a lot about the ones in behind or in and around Liverpool, whether Manchester City with the number of signings that they've had come in, settle, and of course are able to apply what Pep wants from them. And of course, Arsenal, whether or not they get that elusive number 9 that they've been searching for, and can produce a goal tally of 20 plus goals a season. I think it's really down to the ones in and around them to determine what happens with Liverpool. But I agree, there's a lot still to happen. The transfer window still to close. There's some movement still. But you would have to say, if you were forced to make a decision, I think Liverpool will start this season as favourites.
Yeah. Well, gentlemen, bye from our team. You know, we really had a good time chatting with all of you. As you said, Brent, I think you said it perfectly. Like, you know, we gained family members, not just friends. So hopefully we'll cross paths again in another, I don't know, wherever else we decide to go. Because as now, everybody keeps asking me, what's my plan? And I'm like, it just happened, guys. I don't have a plan. So hopefully we'll connect again soon. Any final words?
I hate
Thank
final
you.
words. Yeah.
Me too.
See you soon.
Yeah. One.
Thank you. I mean, you know, I've never felt so welcome, and I always have been and will be appreciative of everyone there. I mean, it's more than that. It's the friendships that I've made. It's the people that I've sent messages to that kind of make you crack up. I don't know. I mean, you know, it's not a goodbye. It's see you soon. We'll definitely cross paths. I'm sure of that. And I feel that everybody there is A1 top level people, and I really appreciate each and every one, because they've made me feel A1 in moments where I didn't feel A1 myself, and I'm really eternally grateful for each and every one of you.
Thanks, guys. Talk soon.
Thank you.
Okay, so do I have to do the toaster at the track? Because Lance prepared his final at the track.
Take a break first. We're going to take a break first.
Okay, we're taking a break.